Welcome back in here to the Restaurant Show, a very different edition of the Restaurant Show. We're here at Fireman's Park in Cottage Grove, actually doing a big barbecue competition. We bring in Smokin Barbecue. We got Eddie, we got Jamie. Thanks for coming in and doing the Restaurant Show, guys.
No problem.
Yeah, so we got some ribs here today. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the process for prepping some ribs. We're going to show you what the outcome looks like, and unfortunately you won't be able to taste it, but I'll give you the sample. I'll be your taste buds. So let's start by let's talk to Eddie here first. Kind of give us a little bit of the background of Smokin Barbecue. How did this kind of come about? We've got this gigantic machine. I want to ask you all sorts of questions about that too, but give me the basics.
So the basics is my restaurant closed down. I had a bar and restaurant that closed down in 2015. Kind of missed the whole food service side. That's when I started doing the catering, and pretty much that's where we are today. Is a year later, and this is where we're at.
Well, and I guess the good part too is you can cater to everybody, and you don't have to. If you want to go to a restaurant, sometimes it's a little bit hectic and trying to get reservations, but you don't have to worry about that anymore. Yep. So that's going to be a good part here for Smokin Bones. So I'll turn it over to Jamie. So we've got a rack of ribs here. So tell me about this cut, and tell me about the prep work that goes into to making a good barbecue rib.
Well, this is just a full cut of rib, untrimmed, and what we're going to do is we're going to trim it, and we're going to put some rub on it, we're going to cook it, we're going to put some sauce on it, and then we're going to eat it.
All right, well, it sounds good to me. I'll let you kind of get started with that, and then I'm going to ask Eddie just some questions about the background of this. What is there any sort of story, like, is it a local cut of meat? Where do you get these cuts of meats? And, what's your, the thought behind what you're doing for different rubs and sauces and stuff like that?
Yeah, so for all of my meats, I go to UW Provisions.
Awesome.
For everything. Our rub and sauces are everything we do in-house, so it's all our own recipe for both of them items.
Yeah, how did it, how long does it get to kind of figure out, well, here's how I'm going to make my perfect version of a sauce and a rub and all that kind of stuff?
Experimented with quite a few different blends and finally found one that I liked and that seemed to be a hit that other people liked, so just stuck with it.
Yeah, so Jamie, you're kind of trimming this piece of meat up, and is there, how do you know that this is a good piece of meat here?
Just by the way that it feels, and there's not a lot of fat on it.
So you don't want a lot of fat on this?
No, because the more fat that's on it, the more fat you got to trim off of it.
I got you. I suppose it causes a little bit more smoke too. So, but so we've got a lot of work going on here to trim this down. Eddie, tell me a little bit about the smoker itself. So we got a big smoker over here. We're gonna see some footage here of it. Is this something you bought, or is it something you built?
This was custom made. This is actually
really
a smaller version of a offset trailer for us. But yeah, it's custom built, and it has done us some good.
Custom built. Is there? So what is? So there's different theories behind how to smoke something. Is there? Tell us about the heating elements and the cooking process here.
With the offset smoker, it's easier to control the heat.
Okay.
Rather than.
So what does that mean, offset?
Basically, there's baffles in here. The heat goes through and around, and back up that chimney pipe there.
Okay, so it kind of goes all the way around the meat, and that's what you're cooking. How long would something like this, these ribs that we're preparing right now, how long was something like that going to cook for?
5 hours.
5 hours. Okay, and then is there, that like a standard thing, or is it kind of like your version, like you had sort of maybe like experimented with different times? And
yeah, I mean, that's the time we found that works best for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a delicious piece of meat it looks like here. So what kind of, stuff we're going to put on this, as far as, ingredients and, sauces and so is this a rub, or is this the sauce we're going to be doing?
We're going to do both.
Okay, we're going to do both. And what's the thought behind that?
The rub gives it a little bit of base flavor. So when you put the rub on it and then you cook it, all the juices kind of mingle, and you get that flavor inside of the meat. Where when you sauce something and you put it in something, the sauce and the sugars in the sauce want to burn right away. So, and by cooking it slow, for a long time, you don't want that sauce to burn. So we want to put that on last.
Yeah, slow and low has kind of been your guys' MO here. Just if I can add another rhyme into that. But yeah, so you got this piece of meat here, and we're gonna cook this down. So I'll let you kind of go and do this here. So is there a proper technique to doing the rub?
No, you just want to put it on very liberally. Make sure that you get all the edges.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, watching this and checking this out on TV is going to be a big tease for those people who are watching. So that's the unfortunate part. The good part is we're gonna sample it here, and at least we'll be able to tell you, kind of describe some of the flavors. So what are we looking for when we do get to that point? What kind of things in our mouth we're going to be looking for, and visually?
It all depends on what your taste is. You're probably going to have a little bit of heat, not a lot. There's going to be a little bit of sweet in there. Of course, you're going to get the smoky flavor from the hickory that we use.
Okay.
And it's just going to be a good piece of meat.
And so that was another, I'm assuming, another experimental thing about the wood kind of selection you have?
Yeah, so we use apple and hickory as the two types of woods we use, kind of 50-50 blend when I'm throwing it in the fire pit there.
So do you get sort of, sweetness from the apple or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's the theory behind that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got a bunch of gauges on the machine here.
Yeah, so take a look in here.
See, you're kind of checking on that periodically, and now we're going to take a little bit of a look inside. So what's going on here?
So I got a couple slabs of ribs in here, getting ready to pull off here.
You got a little bit of that crispy outside. And you want that crisp outside.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I'm assuming, it's kind of where the flavors are hanging out.
Yep, exactly.
So I'll let you, the masters, take you and do your thing with the cutting of this. But oh man, that was so easy. I'm gonna eat this right now. Oh, fresh off the smoker. I'm going in. You're right. It's got a little bit of that spiciness.
Yep.
The smoke for sure. That's a delicious piece of meat.
Yeah.
Smokin' Bones BBQ, where can they find you guys?
They could view our website at www.smokinbonesbbq.com.
All right.
Or give us a call at 608-206-5023.
Well, that sounds all good. They are in Madison, so they do cater, so check them out for sure. I'm going to finish this off, and we'll have more restaurant show coming up after this.